My name is Cameron Gipp. Professionally, I'm known as Big Gipp. My role is Elroy. One of the most incredible experiences of being in the Goody Mob was doing 3 shows in one day in 3 different cities.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Waking up in the morning, doing an early show in Alabama, getting back on the plane and flying to Florida, doing a show, to do like an early show, then flying to Atlanta and performing in the Georgia Dome. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just to watch us be able to go from a group that people didn't really know to a group that was able to do 3 shows in one day. And, you know, to have the experiences that we've had, you know, like to have a #1 record, to be able to sell a show out in New York, to sell a show out in LA, to be on major tours in foreign countries, and to rock shows for people who probably didn't even speak our language but knew the raps. That's the most incredible thing about being an artist, just seeing how far your music has reached, and sometimes not knowing how far your music has reached. You know, it keeps this a very exciting ride for artists like me, because I'm connected to a few greats. So my music catalog is it's spread out where where I was able to be heard in many parts of the world. Just great. It's a good feeling because some artists are never heard. One of the first experiences where I knew that me and my crew was starting to break ground on the music business was when, you know, some of our first tours, it was Outkast and Goody Mob and Biggie Smalls and Craig Mack. You know, so I remember when the tour came through Atlanta and we all performed at the Warehouse, a club that was downtown at the time, and Outkast performed, Goody Mob performed, and then we watched Biggie Smalls perform. And you know, from us coming from where we came from, I'm sure that all of us had that look in our eye like, man, we ain't made it. It was like the first night that Biggie did, give me the loot, give me the loot. And he threw money in the crowd, and it was just like, yo, like, wow. And it was the first night that we was able to do like cell therapy live, you know, here, and Outkast was doing, you know, of course, their first albums, Player Balls and stuff. So, I mean, just to be able to do those records along with them artists, and then that's why it's such, it's mind blowing to me, because I just sit around and I think about how many artists that I really knew that's not here no more. You know what I mean? That I started with, that was in my class. You know, they're not here anymore. You know what I mean? So, just to know that we made it to this other side of the music business didn't destroy us. We made it through, and it's okay. You know, because a lot of people leave this business destroyed emotionally. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you gotta be able to ride the good like you ride the bad. You know what I mean? You gotta keep your chin up and your chest out and just wait till the next hit comes. And if it don't, just take care of yourself in the times of darkness, where you'll be okay when to live when it's not going on. So that's the whole thing about being an artist at this time. Just understanding who you are and what you bring to the game, and understanding that, hey man, you have to have a value on yourself. You can't do everything. You have to have self-worth, because this business is known and it'll hold you out. It'll hold you out, man. You'll be like an old prostitute. You can't get no money because you did too much and didn't do enough, you know. So I mean, with that, it's and that's why I say you can't. It's 2 different artists. There's ones that do it for the money, and there's ones that just do it for spiritual reasons. You know, I don't think Bob Marley would have ever got a Grammy, because he wasn't sent here to do that.
Right.
He was sent here to make the kind of music he made. And I think when I look at artists, I'm like, that's the kind of artist I would be. You know what I mean? That's you know, I'm so into the rebel artists. I'm not really. If you would say, get what band reminds you of Goody Mob? That's a rock band. Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and if get what rappers do you love when you do your cannabis thing? Hey man, Cypress Hill, man. You know what I mean? Like I listen to Muggs, I listen to Be Real. You know what I mean? So it's like with me, it's different. I listen to Snoop. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Artists gotta really know who you are in the entertainment world, especially now because there's so many new outlets. But at the same time too, in this new world with technology being advanced now, people can really carve out their own personality and who they want to be in this world. So, you know, I just say this, man, when you sit down at these tables, know who you are. The more you bring to the table, the less you gotta ask for. That's what my daddy taught me a long time ago. The more you bring to the table, the less you gotta ask for. Specifically, as far as the opioids, I mean, we gotta look at it like this. When I first started hearing about opioids, it used to be rich white people out in LA. First people that I heard about that the opioids was taking a hold of people. And it was because the rich kids had them. My kid, she graduated from high school in Los Angeles, and she used to come home and she'd be like, Dad, some of the kids, like, they come to school, Dad, and they be having their parents pills. And they take the pills during the day, and then they be like at the end of the day, because I would show up at a high school to pick her up, and I'd be like, why is it a kid sitting up in the tree reading a book? Like she'd be like, yo, Dad, they be wired out on them pills, man. And it's nothing wrong with it. I mean, nothing wrong with it if you don't know who you are and what you're doing, but at the same time, I look at it like, yo, man, this is it's what people want. You know what I mean? The opioids, man, like, you know, you talk about crack, you talk about meth. Okay, all the drug dealers from El Chapo to, you know, all the drug people that do the cocaine and the weed, they go to jail. But then we're talking about an opioid crisis in America, that the only way you could get this medicine was to get it from a doctor. And ain't no doctors going to jail. You see, I don't really deal with color in my life. I deal with facts. I'm colorblind. See, because I know at the end of the thing, at the end of the day, this is about money. Opioids ain't nothing but synthetic examples of hard drugs. So it's almost like this. It was like people did this. Rich people did this. They said, hey man, cocaine ain't cool. Find me something medical that's cocaine. Heroin ain't cool. Find me something that's medical that's heroin. So when you look at this, it's a bigger problem than just the kids being on these opioids. We got to look at the doctors who giving these kids the opioids. The doctors who using their actual degrees, and they're actually acting just like a kid from the ghetto. They're drug dealers. So let's start being honest about what's really going on. Like, opioids only come from what we call the doctor. So why is everybody dying on opioids? You know what I mean? It's just like I can look at methamphetamines and say, man, methamphetamines did to the white community as the same thing crack did to the black community. Like, and me being in Atlanta and being in the MJQs and all the underground clubs way before it was popular to be, I've been seeing this stuff. You know what I mean? I've been seeing it. And it doesn't, and like and what I'm saying to you, and the way I'm saying it is that I have no problem with nobody, you know what I mean? Because if you was to look at my band of friends, we look like a crayon box. So, you know what I mean? I'm like, I just love people that's honest. Like, Hey man, let's be honest about this. Just like crack was given to the ghettos, it seems like crystal meth was given to the trailer parks. Cause I'd never seen it, until somebody said, "Yo," when I first seen it, it was ice, and now it's to see kids in the hood. I remember in Atlanta, 92, 93, black kids wouldn't take pills. We was always told no. We wouldn't take aspirins. You know what I mean? We didn't get into pills till the ecstasy. Hey. we didn't really get into pills and stuff like that in our community until ecstasy, and that's when ecstasy started being referred to in rap songs. That it became cool. You know what I mean? And you gotta look at the 90s, man. Like, look at the 90s. Like, the 80s was so ravaged by cocaine that the 90s turned into nothing but a big commercial for weed. The early 2000s turned into a big commercial for opioids. So, when we look at it, we like, wait a minute. It's been actual decades spent on these drugs. Meaning that this is systematic. So, I would say this to anybody out there. Understand this right now. It's so many fake drugs out here right now that I would be scared to take anything that I didn't know was real or not. Okay, we got fake opioids out here now. You know what I mean? So, people gotta understand that this, you could feel like, it's some people who feel like, yo, I take opioids, so I'm not a heroin addict. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because if you stop taking them pills, you'll start itching and moving all around. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth. The reason I knew about opioids so young was I hurt my leg in a warehouse. We was working on Outkast's first album. And I hurt my leg, whereas the doctor gave me opioids to take. Well, I started taking the opioids, and I was like, I don't really like this feeling. Like, I already knew what weed felt like, because I was a cannabis head. So I know what that felt like, but it was like the opioids made my body feel dried out, and then it made me start feeling like my body became addicted to the actual opioid. Whereas when I didn't take the pills, my body would start reacting to it. And I was like, damn, like, cannabis don't do that. You know what I mean? And yeah, I know people who do coke. I mean, I've had kids all my life around me, like, hey, yeah, you know what I mean? It's not, hey, man, whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that I've seen functioning people do that for years, you know what I mean? The opioids is just new. Like, it's a new place, it's a new darkness. And one thing that I do see that's bad from opioids is the depression that comes with taking those pills. It's a real depression place that takes you into a dark room where you damn near start thinking about suicide. Everybody that I know get into that stuff be on some suicidal shit, and you be like, man, you rich, what you want to kill yourself for? You know, and I'm just like, that's the drugs. That's the opioids. Because it's like, come on, man, like, why do people need to pop Xanax all day? Like, I took Xanax only to get on the plane to go to London. Like, I'll tell y'all a funny story. One time, me and my guys, right, we just, it's two ways to fly when you're doing long distance flying. You either stay up all night or you take you a half a Xanax bar. One of the two. Okay. So we stay up all night, and my guy, we get to the actual, to the check-in. Well, we have to go through. Well, my guy took the Xanax bar about 30, 40 minutes before we got there. So just imagine, once we get to the check-in and start checking in, it starts kicking in. So when he starts taking his belt off, His pants falls to the ground. And all of us was sitting there laughing because we was like, yo, the Xanax ain't kicked in. And I mean, when you see somebody that's never been on this stuff and it affects them, it kind of makes you look at this and like, yeah, I don't know if I need to be lit. That's not a good look. So, I mean, I can tell anybody, man, that whatever you do in life, know what you're doing it for, you know? And everybody's makeup and DNA is not the same. What some people can take and some people can handle, others just can't take it. I know functioning crackheads for 20 years, man. I know artists that's been doing probably coke since Miami Vice was on TV. And they function like they smoke weed. You know what I mean? So you gotta understand some people's body makeup and DNA helps them keep it all together, and other people just not built like that. So you gotta understand who you are, so you know in this world who you are not.
Thank you. Okay, switching gears and going in a totally different direction.
All right.
When you are on set or on stage, what is you're familiar with craft services. On set, we call it craft services where they have a whole plethora of food and drinks and you just go grab. So what is your must-have snack or refreshment?
To tell y'all the truth, I really don't eat before I go on stage. The only thing I really need is a cold CocaCola because I'm a Georgia boy. That's about it. We're going to break the ice with a nice cold CocaCola and we can start the music. We can get this over with. You know, I can't go on stage too full or with food in me because I jump around too much. And that's just my style on stage. So now that I've learned that I've been up there for 20-some years, I just know what I can and what I cannot do. But water is always great. And making sure that I get rest. You know, we used to just stay up all night in the studio, do our thing, and jump on stage. And sometimes you'd be like, yo, I'm tired. You know what I mean? So with me right now, I'm just like, yo, the biggest thing about the stage, I gotta have rest, water, and the Coca-Cola, and then we ready to go. We'll get to the steak after it's over with.
Awesome.